Love Power Show. And in the interest of time, I'm going to get right to it. Omar Baruta to my left. And Brother Lonnie Simmons. Also, Jeffrey Steele. And today we are talking about lynching, the lynching of African Americans, men and women. And Jeffrey, what about this lynching thing?
This is something that's come hand in hand with the current society that we live in, that's ran and by the ideologies and philosophies of racism, white supremacy. This is something that's not new. We can even go so far back, if you want to even go back to your Bible or to the New Testament. There's a story of someone whom many are worshiping this morning who was crucified.
Okay.
I believe that the history of lynching, that being an example, a very well-known example, knowing that lynching is something that has to do with humiliation and brutal violence in front of masses of people. I don't see how we can separate those two, but that's something that started back then and is still currently happening, because there are more modern day lynchings that happen today as well.
Very good. You preempted my follow-up question. Modern day lynching. Lonnie, I want to go to you next, then follow with Brother Omar Baruti. What about lynching? When we looked at Willie Lynch, we have names like Willie Lynch, Charles Lynch, some magistrate in Virginia sometime in the 1600s. And then there's a John Lynch. So what about, a follow-up question, what about this lynching thing?
What I understand is that, the lynching, a lot of these that was in power, they were slave owners or whatever. And, they used lynching to justify how they treated, or how they psychologically, how they thought about the blacks, period. Because that form of lynching was used for, their justification. They in their law, we weren't considered 100% humans. Then to them, justifiably killing us is no different killing a dog or a chicken. That they strung by the neck. So it's just another racist form of ideology that lynching is an action. So they took whether it's mutilating you or humiliating you, they did that to you because they thought less of you, inferior.
A part of what I hear you saying is that when this whole stereotyping thing came into play, that African Americans were considered savages. So that plays into what you just said about
exactly.
Lynching African Americans in terms of animals and savages.
Right.
Omar, I want to come to you next. What do you say about this whole lynching thing that Ida B. Wells was a part of, and a few other women as well? And while you're at it, tie in, and then tell Ida, hold on, we're going to come to him next.
You holding?
Okay, and then talk about the People's Grocery Store, right there at Mississippi and Walker, right here in this town.
Lynching for white people, just be straight.
Be straight.
I don't want to get confusing.
Right.
Lynching for white people has been a way of life. And it's evolved over time, but they still use some of the primitive aspects of lynching. Like when they lynched Frederick Jermaine Carter down in Mississippi just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was found lynched outside of a white suburb. A 26-year-old man who hadn't done anything to anybody. At first he said it was suicide, but the evidence showed that he was actually lynched.
Mm-hmm.
They also lynched a young man just a few months ago who was dating a white woman.
Heard about it?
Lonnie Lacey, I think was his name. He was lynched, and the lynching instrument was some dog collars tied together. He was hung across a playground swing. But it's evolved, like they lynched the football quarterback, Vic,
Mm-hmm.
for allegedly fighting dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they fight more than that, and they don't get lynched. but again, it's gone high tech.
Okay, high tech.
Yeah, high tech.
They're fighting chickens.
You don't use the ropes anymore to lynch people. You use the political process and the news media to lynch people. So when they want to assassinate your character, and they do that all the time, when they got a black dude that stands up and speaks for the people, then they put him into a lynching, a high-tech lynching process. So nothing's changed for them. That's just their tool to keep people oppressed.
Okay, and this is very good. We've expanded the debate of lynching. Come on in, Alan, because I want to get right back, right on top of this thing. Come on, Alan.
Yeah, Mr. Ray, I'm getting good example. You know, it's called media lynching. I see somebody that looks better to me right now. He ought to know better. Look at doing Bill Cosby. He lost so much, and it's not a charge here. He lost his name. And this one say he's a dark brother. And a lot of those lynching, because I'm from this topic, my granddaughter told me about it, that when African Americans get a lot of money and think they're somebody, the first thing they want, they'll forsake their beautiful wife and want to go and mess with this brother man. He went at Billie Holiday song. This is what I'm saying. Clarence Thomas, he ought to know better. If these people were immediately to lynch a Supreme Court justice, I'm going to tell you, black man, Bill Cosby, he was so pitiful. If he was a role or a suffer, man, he'll see these black people would run to him. He needs to lug it up and learn that, he should know better because he's an older man. If I had $1 billion, I would smile at a white woman. Because it was all about making a point. I'm going to say this, like Brian Williams. If he was a black actor, they said he apologized. He almost said, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. They said, oh, you going to take a little time off? And immediately, it's lynching people every day. They call character assassination. This is what I'm saying, that black man, you're talking about lynching 100 years ago, they used the room. Now they use the television.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. And thanks to you, Isaac Woodford, for being here with us.
I'm in.
Go ahead, Lonnie. You're in. Come on, Lonnie.
I just want to say, on that note, I think it's a war tactic on their part to psychologically keep us afraid of them. So, if they use that, if they can use it and see that, there's no retaliation, there's no reciprocity from that, then if they can keep doing that, then psychologically, then you like, all right, well, nothing's going to happen to them anyway, so why stand up against that, So I think it's a form of, a way that they can keep us afraid, whether, like you say, they use it through the media, use some propaganda to keep us feared, or they'll physically, do something, and the law enforcement comply with whatever, they see justifiable,
Okay.
But,
Jeffrey, I hear him saying this whole approach of intimidation and instilling fear in black people from the slave holders moving into modern day slavery, lynching, what do you call these ramifications. Can you expand on what Lonnie just said, and let's come on around the table?
Absolutely. You see, the whole point is we are at war, like Lonnie said, and one of the main vices that they are using, and it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's the same tactics. We just have to recognize it. First thing that they do is they're going to demonize the person that they're going to attack first.
Yes.
They are going to demonize them and make them seem like they are either less human,
Yes.
they are a threat to themselves or society, or for whatever reason, but they're going to demonize them first. And so anytime we see somebody that's being demonized, and we don't, and there's no evidence, because in Bill Cosby's case, he ain't stood trial, they ain't convicted him of nothing, but everybody wants to run with what's being said, hearsay. But this is one of the most, he's one of the wealthiest black men in America. I don't know, the stories, I'm not a judge or nothing, but be careful because they always demonize before they attack. And these are nothing that's new with Bill Cosby. And so they try to get they demonize the person in order to get that justification to do their evil deeds.
Right, so you're saying that stereotyping, scapegoating ties right into a lot of what we're seeing today, is what you're saying. And then, so what about some pushback? What about some strategy? What about some goals and objectives to push back, offer pushback, and then bring into production and education for African Americans? Omar, I'm going to you. While you're at it, tie Ida B. Wells in the Torchlight. What was the name of the newspaper? She was Friends of the People. We have a call on the line?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's take Omar. Take the call. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, call you on there.
Oh, yeah. Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters.
Good afternoon.
It's only brothers
There's
here
only
right now.
brothers here.
With your information. But I would like to say this. When you're talking about riots, all those people that are alive today, when you think about riots, you think about Watts and some of these other little things. We never did kill anybody indiscriminately. It just burned through places. People getting all teary-eyed, oh, 2 white cops got killed. So what? Sorry. But when white folks riot, man, they do big things. A lot of people don't want to talk about the history of riots in America. Now I want to say one more thing, get this off my chest too, about George Zimmerman.
Go ahead.
George Zimmerman.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Go ahead, caller. 3, 2, 1,
Okay.
go.
All right, we lost him.
We lost him.
Call back. Come on, Omar. The question is Ida B. Wells, Friends of the People. Let's talk about Ida B. Wells, the People's Grocery, and that name itself says something. And Ida B. Wells was friends of these men. There was a shootout. They hauled them off to prison. This lynch mob went in, brought them out of prison, took them somewhere and gunned them down. No one has been held accountable for it. Speak to that, Omar.
You know, that's called white justice for black America. And nothing's changed. I heard the Brother Johnson on the show before us talk about the Tulsa race riot. And this is the first time in history that a black city has been bombed. Not a black city, but an American city has been bombed since America's been.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
And in that period of time, you know, that the black folk have risen up financially in that part of the world. And just like with Ida B. Wells, black folk in Memphis are rising up, and white folks who want to assert white supremacy can't stand that, and they have to do whatever they can to suppress it. And anytime that you have black progress, white folks are going to come and knock it down. So what she did and what they did is no different from what's going to come down the road if we don't do something about our reality.
Do something about our reality.
All right, we got to call her back.
Okay, come on, caller, real quick.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I'm going to say this real quick. You're talking about your riots. The people alive now on earth, all we used to hear about riots is in L.A. and different places around there. But when white folks riot, man, the history of white folks riot in this country, they kill us, they live us when they riot. I think in 1919, the Red, let's see, what would they call it? Red Summer.
Red Summer.
Y'all probably read about the Red Summer. It happened in the North and the South. So we ain't seen nothing. All we got on TV is that little old stuff they done back there in the 60s and 70s. Big deal. So 2 white police got killed. So what?
Wow.
Okay.
It's here too, and I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
If George Zimmerman had shot a dog or a cat that night, he would have been incarcerated. Am I right? Bye-bye.
All right. Well, thanks, caller. Thanks, caller.
Wow, that was short and sweet.
Omar, these lynch mobs, because of Ida Wells' activity, and she had on, these people were productive. Newspaper, editing, grocery stores, working together. They went after her, tore her place up. She got out of Memphis into Chicago. Memphis was so bad that people were urged to leave Memphis with this lynching thing and get out of here. And how bad is Memphis today? Contrast and compare. What are we talking about here now?
You know, I keep hearing my sister, Joanna Urban, talk about the number of black folk killed in Memphis by police.
Mm-hmm.
and it leads the way in the nation with unarmed black men being slaughtered by police officers. Memphis has not changed. But what they do now, they don't publicize it as much because they don't want to wake up the masses of the people. Because if you wake them up, then what are you going to do about it? There's a saying, there's a lion asleep in Judah. Who will awaken it? They don't want to wake that lion up. They want to keep that lion dead asleep. And dead if they can't keep him asleep.
Jeffrey, what Brother Omar just said reminds me of something. It reminds me of getting relaxed, becoming passive. So after hearing that and thinking about this whole discussion and going historically in retrospective terms, what should African Americans be doing? Should African Americans continue to work, or since it's not in the media much and not being talked about much, should we relax and say everything is all right?
Hell no.
Come on, Jeffrey.
We've got to wake up and quit letting these things happen in front of our face and be passive and quiet. Just like Brother Rudy was saying about Sister Jonina, she's documented many cases. In 2012, she had 11 murders by the police, and in 2013, she had another 11 documented here in the city of Memphis, killed by the police. Now, I'm not from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from Jackson, Tennessee. All day yesterday, we were out trying to let the people know there about a young man by the name of Senku Jaspora, who was the age of 20, who was killed by an officer of the law on November 6th of 2014. They're saying an investigation is going on. They're saying that there is a video. They're saying that the officer was stabbed. But the only official documentation that the family has is what comes from the coroner report that shows that Senku Jaspora was shot in his back. This is what we ought to be doing. We need to be finding people who have been victims of injustices and helping them to get the truth out there, and we need to be striving for justice out here. There's no other cause more worthy than striving for justice in society. And if we're not doing that, we're not living up to our citizenship.
Very good, I like that. What about this media manipulation, Lonnie? Media manipulation. Let's talk about that. Let's get.
Brought that up because
you like that question? Go ahead.
Brother Baruti had just said, like, ain't nothing changed in Memphis. The only thing that's changed is how they publicize it. And I was reading an article earlier, and back in the day, the number one way that they got information out was through the newspaper. And so this is, after Civil War, during Civil War times, whatever, but, they didn't hide, their feelings or whatever. So all of that was in the newspaper. So, the society really based their ideology, through the sources or whatever. But, today, the way they can manipulate it, and like you say, just like this incident in Jackson, right? The only official thing that's official is the coroner report. Mm-hmm. And they even told the father something different at the hospital. Sure. So the thing is, if the media knows about it, and they can't say they don't because we come to them, they ask for an interview and don't even display it, mm-hmm. so the people can see. So apparently it's a propaganda to keep. They don't want to see that image, like the brother said. They don't want to see the image of our people addressing our issues with the establishment that be. So if they show them lions waking up, then look, the message is gonna spread, and the other lions is gonna start. So
in this media manipulation, is that like asking the Fox to investigate what happened at the hen house? Is that going, like the Staple Singles said, going out the world backward like you did when you first came here? Come on, Omar. Now let's look at Emmett Till, Marcus Norris, and so many others. Brother Omar, do we have another caller?
Yes, we do.
Come on, Omar, you want to wait? I tell you, Omar is the most disciplined man in the city of Memphis. Come on, caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, good morning, brothers. How y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Hey, this is Eli. The issue with the shooting of our brothers here in the city, it cannot be addressed like it is around the nation, because if you factor in, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let y'all address it. We dwell under a and tendency of a police force that is majority African American.